What's happening? What's up? How's it going, guys? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another session of Johnny Gaz Live. We're just after 9:30, and you found the right place. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button. It's the best free way to help out the channel. Let's share this thing out there so we can get friends and family involved. We got so much to talk about tonight. So much happened around the Detroit sports scene. So much happened around the national sports scene. We've got the World Baseball Classic going on right now. The final is happening as we speak. I'll keep you posted on that one. We just have the Pistons wrapping up in Washington against the Wizards. Pistons with a victory, 130-117. We're going to get into that one here in just a minute. We got the Red Wings with a victory over the Flames last night. A much-needed victory for the Wings. As they get into the home stretch of their season, they have a very important home stretch and some big games coming up. We're going to talk about that. Tigers in their last preparations in spring training as they get geared up for the regular season. And then, of course, our main topic of the day, we're going to be hitting on our Lions. And as you can see, as the banner says, we're going to flip the script a little bit today. We're going to drink a little bit of that Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid and get a little positive with everyone. We're going to talk our Detroit Lions and everything that they've done well so far this offseason and answer the question, have we been too hard on the Detroit Lions? We're going to get into that in just a little bit. I appreciate you guys for joining early and often. Let's get in it. What's up, chat? How we doing today? Mile Marker, how you doing, buddy? Lots of shoveling on beat. Man, how's the snow near you, pal? Sounds like it's getting hit pretty hard. Hope you're doing okay. What up, Doe? What's up, Trim? How you doing, buddy? Appreciate you guys for getting involved. Lightning, Millicent, always in the house. Do you know what Millicent gets when she's here? We be gonging, Millicent. Welcome to the chat. Good to see you. Good to have you. Yes, Trim Lions made a signing later in the day today. We're going to dive into that here in just a minute. We got a lot to talk about. Lions actually made a move at the edge position. Oh my. We're going to get into that here in just a little bit. Also, happy St. Patrick's Day to those who celebrate, those who are wearing green. Obviously, with my Lions blue on, I'm not really representing. I did have my green on for work today. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Certainly takes on a different meaning now for me at 40 than it did when, let's say, I was 24. but still a reason to feel festive and celebrate. All of our Irish friends out there, give them a hug, share a pint. More than anything, just be kind to the ones around you. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm glad to have you guys with us. What's happening, Robert? How you doing? What's up, my dude? Yeah, we're going to be talking heavy Honolulu Blue Lions here in just a little bit. But before we get into that, I think what we need to do first, like we do every week here at Johnny Gaz Sports in these live sessions, let's go around the D. Around the D with Johnny G. Well, we got to kick it off with the Pistons. They just ramped up against the Wizards. Pistons with a victory, 130-117. Some good and some bad from this matchup. Let's dive into it. Let's start with the good. Obviously, Pistons, a much-needed victory against a bad Washington Wizards team, a team that they had lost to their previous matchup, and they had just squeaked out a victory in overtime much earlier in the season in November. So as the Pistons get into the home stretch of this season, they have back-to-back road games against this Washington Wizards team tonight, Tuesday, and then again on Thursday, and they kick it off with a victory against Washington this evening. Jalen Duren, the big star of the night, 36 points, 12 rebounds, another double-double. He is just a double-double machine for these Pistons and really carried the weight here tonight in Washington. Reason why Cade Cunningham left about midway through the first quarter. He was a game-time decision anyways with his back problems. While diving for a loose ball, it looked like he aggravated that back injury, and he did not return. Now, according to MLive.com, Cade Cunningham exited Detroit's matchup with the Washington Wizards midway through the first quarter and was ruled out for the remainder of the game due to back spasm. Tough break for the Pistons. They're in the home stretch of the regular season. No, they're cruising toward their playoff spot and could clinch a number one seed in the East. Being without their top player in any game makes for a difficult outing. Cunningham appeared to suffer the injury diving for a loose ball on defense after he broke up the dribble of Washington's Trey Johnson. He takes a blow from Johnson's knee to his back and needed some time before being helped up. He eventually left the court during a timeout and was ruled out for the rest of the contest. So we'll have to monitor what that means for Cade Cunningham and the Pistons. Obviously, this week with another matchup on Thursday with the Washington Wizards, if he's not ready to go, that would be a good game to keep him out of. But the Pistons really cannot afford just to give up games here towards the back end of the season, as they are hanging on to this first seed in the Eastern Conference, and they would really do well to hold on to that seed as they enter the playoffs. They were already without Isaiah Stewart tonight, so we'll have to see if this Cade Cunningham injury stretches into a couple games here. Let me know if you guys watched the game. Did it appear serious in the moment? What do you think of this Cade Cunningham injury? Did you watch the Pistons' victory in Washington, 130-117? This has now moved to 48-19. And again, hold on to that first place position in the Eastern Conference. They are 7.5 games up on Cleveland in the Central. And so as the Pistons get more victories, I think they had 15 games remaining before this one today. They've really set themselves up where they have everything in front of them for this number 1 seed. So again, we'll have to see what's happening with Cade Cunningham. Does this back injury linger? Is it something more serious? We'll have to see. My guess is you have JB Bickerstaff probably talking to the media as we speak. Obviously, with me being live, I can't see that right now, so I'll have to go check and see what he says about that injury when we get done with the live today. I will keep you posted on the channel with that. But in the end of things, Pistons with a victory 130-117 over the Wizards on the road here on Tuesday night. Millicent says that back pain is no joke. Yeah, he was already kind of suffering with some back pain. He was a game time decision today anyways. I was surprised he got the start, but then something like this happens, and that's, the reason why. It's really unfortunate. What's up, Brent? How you doing, buddy? Appreciate you, man. Brent says, thanks for the info, Johnny G. We definitely need Cade for the playoffs in the long run. Yeah, this can't, hopefully, fingers crossed, this isn't anything long-term. Now, obviously, in this matchup, Pistons should dominate a team like the Wizards. Now, we know their history. Even this season, they haven't been able to do that. But today, getting this win is huge. Let's see what happens with Cade Cunningham, because, again, they have another matchup with this same team on Thursday. So an opportunity for him to sit out, get some more rest if it really requires that. What's up, Joe? How you doing? Talking about a pass rusher. We're going to get on the Lions here in just a minute. Yes, the Lions did sign an edge rusher. We're going to hit on that in just a minute. And then we're going to get real positive about our Detroit Lions. So hang in there with me, guys. We're going to have a lot of fun. Can't Cade afford to have someone shovel them out? Yeah, I hope we can. Don't worry, Joe. We're going to circle right back to the Lions here in just a minute. Don't know. We never start without you, bud. Well, technically we kicked it off, but now the conversation could really begin. Welcome to the chat, my friend. Good to see you. If you guys have not already, make sure to check out @Don'tKnowGrit, all of your socials, TikTok, Facebook. Get your down to the minute Lions content. Rick, my man, over at @Don'tKnowGrit. Yeah, Brent, we got a new edge. But before we get into that, let's hit on our Red Wings. I think it's important that we touch on the Wings. They played in Calgary. They played the Flames last night at home, starting an important 4-game home stretch. They get the victory against the Flames 5-2. Struggled a little bit in the first period. Picked it up in the second period with 4 goals. Patrick Kane with 2 goals on the night. Alex DeBrincat with 3 assists. John Gibson stood on his head several times during this matchup, and the Wings get a much-needed victory against a bad hockey team. Now, setting up the rest of the week where they will play the Montreal Canadiens and the Boston Bruins, and then the Ottawa Senators. So really 3 games in a row now that will have huge playoff implications. Can the Wings get enough offense in these next 3 games to get some points? I'm not saying they have to necessarily win all 3 games, but they can't go over. That would basically take them out of playoff contention. If they lose all 3 games, I think this whole March collapse thing is true. If they're able to get 3 points out of these 3 games, I think you've set yourself up pretty well and probably stay ahead of Boston for that first wild card position. So we'll, again, a very important 3 games now remaining at home, a chance for the Wings to set themselves up. I think they have 14 games left to play. So every game means so much right now. Again, Montreal, Boston, and then Ottawa. And we know that in previous years, Ottawa's knocked them out or ended their season. So hopefully they'll set this one up so that the Ottawa game, can mean something a little bit more positive this year. But the Wings, a huge victory over Calgary last night, 5-2. Patrick Kane with the big night. I think it's very important that we touch on Alex DeBrincat. I think his contributions to the team, especially in the absence of Larkin and Kopp, have been huge. He had 3 assists last night, so just getting everybody involved. So that was really great to see. I guess the question to you guys in chat is, does that victory create some momentum for the Red Wings to ride through this homestand? Can they get enough offense, or is it just a win against a bad team yesterday in Calgary that ultimately gets things going? What up, Paul? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you as well, my man. Yeah, that scares me a little bit, Millicent, to be honest with you. Says the pain on Kate's face said it all. That was quite the grimace. Yeah, back pain's no joke. I mean, back spasms too, if that's exactly what it is. We'll see what that really means for him long term. Let's hope it's nothing that drags on. My guess is he probably takes the night off on Thursday. We'll see what JB Bickerstaff has to say. Yeah, it is nuts. That division, I mean, it's shaping up to where if they can get through these next 3 games, get a few points out of it, the rest of their schedule isn't horrible. So, Trim, I think, again, it's about what can they do over these next few games. And if they can get some dubs, then they're in a real good spot. But, again, they've been so up and down. They've been inconsistent really since the start of March. Like last few seasons, it's been the same routine. Appreciate you guys for getting involved early and often in chat. If you haven't already, make sure to slap the like button. It's the best free way to help out the stream. It's the best free way to help out our lives. If you can share it out, get your friends and family involved. Let's get more folks talking Detroit sports with us here. We have a ton of fun. I also have a very fun topic for us to end the live here today. As we did last week with our favorite sports movie, I have another fun sports topic that I'd love to get your opinion on. I'm sure many of you have gone to many sporting events and have had to decide what food choices you're going to make. Well, we're going to dive into that in some detail. So hang in there with me. We got a lot of fun topics ahead here on Johnny Gaz Live. Papa Johnny G in the house says, happy St. Patrick's Day. Wings just need to get some points every game going forward. I mean, that's really what it is. They don't need to win necessarily the next 3. I'm with you 1,000%. Get a point. Try to get 3 points over the span of the next 3 games, and I think you're sitting pretty. And it doesn't matter how you kind of work that in. And Trim, you're right. I mean, they need Larkin back. They need Kopp back, but it's probably another week for these guys before they reevaluate them. So again, I think they're going to play these next couple games without those guys. The nice thing is Perron came back, I think, quicker than expected. You're getting a lot out of your defensive pairings now that you have Justin Falk. So you're seeing some things come together. I had said this when they made the moves at the deadline. I liked the moves they made. It wasn't super splashy, but I thought it filled the needs for them. The problem is right when they made those moves, then both their centers go out. So I'm not excusing the collapses over the last 7 years and not making the playoffs and everything we've talked about with Steve Yzerman. But for this particular season where the Wings stand right now, they just got to get some points. They got to look at one game at a time. And I think what really makes the difference here for the Wings this year compared to the previous years is goalie John Gibson. I think they have just a little bit more defensively, but more important than that, they have a goalie that's able to stand on his head and save you in certain situations. And they haven't had that in years past. So if there's anything that you can lean on differently this year than years past, I think it's John Gibson. And he's really going to have to hold up here over the next couple games. Let's see if he can do that. Yeah, Trim, I agree. Kopp is underrated. They need him in the lineup big time. Yeah, Gibby's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, that's the difference. A goalie can win you a playoff series. So if the Wings can get in, I mean, sometimes you just ride a hot goaltender. The truth is they need to be able to score more consistently, generate more offense. They go into too many lulls. I don't know if they have true playmakers up front, especially when there's no Larkin, no Kopp. I mean, Kane, he'll give you some in spurts, and we know what a great scorer he is all time. But as far as, what he gives you shift to shift is not the same thing like it was 15 years ago for him. So again, for the Wings, it's about, can they get some kind of points over the next few games? Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you guys going around the D with me here. Let's check in on the World Baseball Classic. I know a lot of you probably aren't overly interested in what's going on, but right now it is the bottom of the sixth. The U.S. is trailing 2-0 to Venezuela. Abreu with another home run for Venezuela. He's been just fantastic for them. Had another one in the semifinal. We're again here today. And then a sacrifice fly. Those are the 2 runs here for Venezuela. Again, bottom of the sixth, 2-0 Venezuela in the 2026 World Baseball Classic finale, or championship, if you will. That one on Fox. And those games, I think those games have been worth the watch. I know a lot of people can't really get into the World Baseball Classic, maybe the timing of when it falls and during spring training. You have a lot of other things going on in the sports world, so I get that, but it has been good baseball. The atmosphere is fantastic. Seeing the other countries compete and bring their flavor to the game, I think is really fantastic. It's been a fun watch. And let's see if the United States can pull something off here late in this championship game. Again, they're down 2-0 to Venezuela. I'll keep you posted on that one. Cheers, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day. No worries, Brent. Appreciate you hanging around, buddy. I appreciate you being a part of the channel. Thank you so much, Brent. Have a good night. Baseball in the gold medal jerseys was a G move. That's right, man. What's up, David? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. They showed up in Team USA hockey jerseys. I'm so invested. I mean, that's a baller move. It is. It really is. It really is. I mean, that's when we talked about kind of celebrating the victory that was the hockey gold medal. That's kind of the good vibe that it creates. So now you got the baseball team wearing the hockey jerseys. I mean, you gotta love to see that. No, I appreciate you guys going around the D with me here. Trim says, I'm completely sober. No green beers for this Irishman. Hey, Trim. That's good, though, brother. No worries, man. Another good day is how we call that. St. Patrick's Day is just another day, man. Just another day to be good to the ones around you. Let's put it like that. But I'm glad. I'm glad you're hanging out with us, my man. And I'm glad they're here at every live. I appreciate you. That's going to do it for Around the D. Let's get into what you guys came here for today. Let's all fill up our cups. Let's pour that blue food dye in there. Let's pour a little cup of sugar. Let's mix it on up. And let's drink some blue Kool-Aid. Let's get into our main topic of the day. It's the main topic of the day, and what you didn't see during that little transition is me quickly run up and turn my lamp back on and then come sit back down like it never happened. The magic of lives. But no, today is about changing our speed a little bit, because I think for the last couple weeks, and I'm talking about myself, I'm not talking about anybody else. I mean, I think there's a lot of the fan base maybe in the same boat, but I can only speak on my fandom. Over the last couple weeks, I think it's fair to say that a lot of folks have been underwhelmed by how this Lions offseason has gone so far. I myself have come out and said exactly that. Underwhelming. But underwhelming doesn't mean bad. And I think when you start to talk about things being underwhelming for this Lions team and maybe not exactly how you would have drawn it up, or maybe they haven't made the splash move that you want them to make, or certain free agent moves that you thought might make this team better. When you start to talk that way, there starts to become this negative feel to everything that you're doing. And I found myself over the last week and change defending my thought process in that this Lions offseason has been underwhelming. So much so that I almost found myself looking for the negative, looking for the pessimistic side of every single move the Lions had made to this point. And I almost had to catch myself at times. And it came to a head, I would say, this weekend, this Saturday, I think it was, where I was scrolling through the comments on a lot of my posts, mostly through Facebook, because that's where a lot of the comments seem to come through. And understandably, you get some crazies out there that are going to say whatever they want to say, or they want to make a point or whatever. They're just mean-spirited. And I try to just dismiss those comments. But the more and more that people clap back at me for me saying things were underwhelming, or I wasn't satisfied, or this wasn't the right move, or I would have done this, or why didn't they do this, or Brad Holmes that, Motor City Dan Campbell that, it was clear to me that my whole view of this thing had shifted from what was always positive to what now seemed to be negative. So today, long story short, thank you for hanging with me for all that. Today, we're flipping the script. We're drinking the Honolulu Kool-Aid. Today, we're being optimistic about what the Lions have done so far. And we're going to answer the question, have we been too hard on this regime so far this offseason? And we've covered the moves that they've made. I mean, we've hit on what they've done so far in free agency. But today, after a few quiet days, we had another move by the Detroit Lions in one of the positions that so many people were clamoring for, the edge position, over the last several seasons and even through this offseason. And as some of the players exited the Lions organization, especially at the edge position, Al-Qadim Muhammad, Roy Lopez, obviously defensive tackle, you started to wonder what the plan was for the defensive line. Well, today, later in the day, we found out that the Lions were signing an edge, DJ Wonnum. I hope I'm saying that right. Formerly of the Panthers and the Minnesota Vikings. Appears it's going to be a one-year deal. Now, this coming from the Pride of Detroit website. Lions have agreed to terms with DJ Wonnum on a one-year deal worth up to $6 million. Is a fourth-round pick in the 2020 NFL draft by the Minnesota Vikings. Wonnum worked his way into their edge rotation as a rookie. Started 31 games for the Vikings and then departed for the Panthers in 24. And over those two seasons, he started 23 of 24 games, registering 30 sacks, averaging 32.1 pressures per season. He's 6'5", 258 pounds. Shows range to line up with his hand in the dirt or standing up on the edge, and can push inside on pass rushing downs. So, being fair, being optimistic, the Lions made a move for an edge piece. The Lions have stuck to their plan. They've told you what they were going to do this offseason. And at this point, they've done exactly that. And this is another one of those under the radar, value-based, budget-based additions that has a ton of upside. Now, looking into this guy's statistics, looking into what he's done in his career, again, nothing necessarily pops out on the screen, but he has starting experience. He has the right size that the Lions have looked for in an opposite edge of Aiden Hutchinson. And it seems like he has the ability not only to rush the passer, but can get after it in the rush attack. And that kind of versatility is what the Lions usually look for, especially across their defensive line. No, it's not a dominant edge rusher. It's not the opposite starter that a lot of people have clamored for, but it is a good edge rotational piece that will compete for snaps for the Lions. Now, this does not mean that the Lions should be done at the edge position. I believe they still should be looking at either another veteran presence at edge or going to the draft, which we know is the Lions and Brad Holmes' bread and butter. So another non-flashy signing, but a guy that has plenty of starting experience, has the applicable size the Lions are looking for, and can be a guy in that rotation for the Lions. So let me know in chat, guys, what do you think of this signing? DJ Wonnum of the Panthers. Lions signed him to a one-year deal, $6 million. I think one of the surprising things you could say is that they let Al-Qadim Muhammad go for a little bit, a similar deal, let's say. He's a little bit younger, Wanham is, than Al-Qadim Muhammad. So you could argue that this is sort of his replacement, another rotational edge piece with starting experience. Nobody want him, so Brad Holmes got him. Jamie, that's hilarious. That's, you win the day. You know what you get for that, Jamie? And we don't give many of these out. There it is. Phil says he's a healthy Davenport. So, yeah, I mean, that's where the other side of this can come into play. Again, it's not flashy, guys. I'm not sitting here saying this is your difference maker on defense. I'm not going to sell it to you that way. But rather than looking at this negatively or pessimistically, like I have been, another no-name signing, it sticks to the plan that the Lions have developed. And I don't think they're done at the edge position. I think this is a rotational piece, but has the right size and the right numbers that they like to see in their edge position. Millicent says, until we see all the parts and pieces on the field, it's not fair to judge much of anything. Players on paper are just that, true for every team and every roster. I think, it's fair. And I think part of what I pulled back on was, okay, I think we're starting to get at this too soon until we see the big picture in its totality. So letting the rest of free agency play out, I mean, at a certain point, you can pray for splash all you want. You weren't going to get it with this organization. And again, they've held true to that. And there's moves still yet to be made. There was talk that Brad Holmes would wait out the second and third wave of free agency and then look at veterans. I think this is sort of part of that process. And then we know what they like to do in the draft. I mean, they are so draft heavy, draft, develop, reward, Brad Holmes specialty. So they're really going to look to fill with impact players in the draft. And until we see both pieces of that, you're exactly right. It's hard to judge exactly what this is going to be. Trim says, bummed out about Hassanin. Was there news about Hassanin I didn't see today, Trim? Because I still had him in the rotation, and he should get a shot at camp. So, I mean, I don't think this move for Wanham necessarily takes him out of that mix unless they've made other moves that I'm not aware of. Don't know says AQM was way too one-dimensional for what they wanted. Well, it sounds like Wanham gives them a little bit more dimension. The question is, how much more, right? He's no Captain Jack, but he's a solid player. What's up, Michelle? Says exactly, Millicent. Exactly. What's up, Green? How you doing, buddy? Appreciate you guys. Yeah, you're right. I mean, splash, whatever we define splash as. Because you're right. It is different to some people. That's kind of part, I think, of why people get so bent out of shape when talking about it. Because you're right, Millicent. I don't know if, like, splash to me doesn't mean Max Crosby, or Myles Garrett when he was available. But to me, the Lions splash would be going out and making more significant moves. And it's hard for me to necessarily put my stamp of what exactly I would have done. But I mean, when Jalen Phillips was available, when Sweat was available in the defensive positions that they were available at, I would have taken a run at some of those guys. That would have been more the splash that I'm referring to. But that just proves your point. Trim, you might be right. I hadn't caught that yet. I would be surprised if they did that to him already. He was a medical release at one point, but then they did bring him back into the fold. So I think it was more to like help him in his long term when he had the injury. So now they've brought him back. I think he's still part of the program, and certainly he should be a factor at the camp. Well, let's go. Then we talked about the signing, obviously, with Wanham. We're not going to beat that up here, but we're going to give the news of it. Obviously, another rotational edge piece. And again, I don't think they're done at edge, but let's look at the bigger picture here. Rather than focusing in on each individual move or beating up each individual move, and like you said, then Don't Know makes a good point. Epeneza's still out there. Cam still out there from New Orleans. So I think there's still moves that could be made to still round this into form. Trim says, I like what Brad has done so far. And that's what we're going to kind of keep talking about here. So let's think about really, when I asked what was the plan last week, and that again was really what spurred a lot of this conversation and made me think twice about thinking about things positively or negatively. Let's go back to the bare bones of this Lions team. It's really all about building from the core that they've developed. And that all happened from when Brad Holmes took over and started his draft success, the Jared Goff trade, and everything that kind of formed what is the Lions culture, what it is now. Jared Goff, Penny School, Amon Brown, at the very bare bones of it, you think about those guys as your core. Now, there's obviously so many other pieces involved. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. I mean, you could keep kind of going past those true core players, and you have a really good foundation. Still a fantastic foundation of all pros, Pro Bowlers, all throughout the levels of your team, offensively and defensively. And I'm not going to lean on injuries. That's not going to be a huge part of my argument, but we know what the injuries have done to this Lions team, especially defensively, over the last several years. So I think they're going back to that again, and I know we don't want to eat it that well or drink from that well often, but you have to imagine that the Lions should get some more luck injury-wise at some point. And they have to continue to build depth around that core. I think we fail to remember sometimes that last year when the defense was relatively healthy, they looked like a top 10 defense. I'm not saying they were, but they had, I think, the ability to be that. Injuries, that leading to scheme changes, and things just fell off. So there's a lot to be done defensively to get back to that top 10 feel. But I think based on what we're talking about with the core, with some of the injury concerns, guys they have coming back, the re-signs that they have, and then looking specifically then at the free agent moves that they've made to supplement, let's look at just defensively. In the defensive backfield is really what they've done so far as adding depth with Roger McCreary, Christian Izien. Now, I'm more excited, I think, about the McCreary signing. I think he has a little bit more upside. I think he has an opportunity to win more snaps out of camp than I think Izien does. But on the other side, Izien has the versatility to play safety, nickel corner, cornerback. So there's versatility there. And that's sort of been a pattern for what the Lions have done over the past couple off seasons. A guy like Rock Ya-Sin is another example of that. They also re-signed him. So building that depth in the secondary. I'm not comparing what the Lions have in the secondary right now, especially with the injuries they have in safety and corner, to what the Seattle Seahawks were throwing out there for that Super Bowl championship. But you see, if we're living in this world where NFL teams mirror each other, or it's a copycat league, well, teams are now chasing the secondary success defensively that the Seattle Seahawks had that helped them win a championship. Part of that is having quality depth, guys you can go to in a good rotation of defensive backs. We know at the top of the rotation for the Lions at corner with Terry Arnold, you still have a lot of growth there. Can he even become a lockdown corner in year 3? Has he shown you enough to make you think he could take another step, or is he just who he is at this point? Him combined with DJ Reed, is that enough? So they then go ahead and add a bunch of depth secondary players to protect from issues they've had in the past. The Legion of Whom, right? We talked about that last year, and they were able to get so much out of that. Well, them adding pieces like McCreary and Izien sort of take that Legion of Whom idea away. Now, if you're leaning on McCreary and Izien as starters, then they're going to have problems. But if they are rotational depth pieces or used as nickel corners or backup safeties, special teams purposes, then you've gotten quality pieces at a good value. And now with DJ Wanham, again, you're adding to that rotation. You needed edge bodies. Well, there's one right there at basically no cost with a high upside if he can stay healthy. Don't know, that's a perfect way to say it. He says the signings so far have seemed aimed at raising the floor, not the ceiling, if that makes sense. I think it makes perfect sense. And that's kind of the way I'm choosing now to flip my mindset with this, is they're raising the ceiling. The bottom isn't as low as it's been. David says, Brad and Dan getting rid of older players with attitudes. Locker room health is paramount. There's certainly something to that, David. I mean, they've come out and said that this is sort of a youth movement in essence, and part of it because it has to be because they weren't going to pay Alex Anzalone a multi-year contract. They weren't going to pay Roy Lopez most likely a multi-year contract. Al-Qadim Muhammad, those guys. They just don't sign multi-year deals typically in free agency. And so these older guys, your David Montgomerys, Anzalones, they have now gone elsewhere. And so now the Lions roster is one of the youngest in the league after some of these departures and signings. Milson says, I've enjoyed all the interviews the Lions are posting of these signings. Yeah, one of the best ones was Isaiah Pacheco. And again, not a splashy signing by the Lions, but they had to have some sort of replacement for David Montgomery. A running back 2 was open. And Pacheco fits that bill. He's a great complementary back. You're only asking him to be a running back 2. We know Jahmyr Gibbs is the feature back. And so to have him to spell Jahmyr Gibbs, I think is a perfect situation. Now, can Isaiah Pacheco remain healthy? Can he get back to the 2023 Isaiah Pacheco versus the 2025? There's certainly questions there, but you're asking him to do this in a lesser role. But going back to what you said, Millicent, that was a fantastic interview. He clearly wanted to be a part of this organization, has that grit the Lions look for, loved speaking to Dan Campbell. It almost was like they were on the same page, it felt like. So he feels like a Lion. And so that's a good signing. And again, they got great value from that. And that's maybe the bigger picture thing with this is the Lions only had so much cap space. Now, I know they could have manipulated Goff's contract more. There were other foundational pieces they could have cap controlled to give themselves more space, but it seemed like they were only working out what they needed because they knew they weren't going to make some huge deal. The locker room vibe is often underrated. As much as I hate to say it, look at what a shift in the locker room vibe did for them Bears. Absolutely. 100%. The Lions have always been about, I think, this culture. I don't think they're willing to go away from it. Whether Lions fans, whether I agree with that, people were making the argument that the culture was disappearing with all these departures. Well, I think, Millicent, to your point, I think they're looking to replace with guys with a similar feel and a similar grit that will keep that culture. Yeah, Big G. Bridgewater coming back, the familiarity, having him as a backup with Goff in the system he's already been. That's another good re-signing. Again, if Bridgewater has to play any significant snaps, then you're in trouble. But you need him as your backup quarterback and as the guy holding the clipboard, and I think that's a good spot for him. Yeah, that was it, Millicent. That first call with MCDC, that was hilarious. Yeah, Pacheco, again, he's got the right attitude. He's got the right aura about him, if I can use a new generation term. I really like that interview. It definitely got me pumped. Another good signing I thought was Tyler Conklin. I think we knew the Lions needed additional bodies at tight end. He's sort of in the Brock Wright category. But I like that you're adding to that room. I think, Sam Laporta is obviously your number one. And I think Tyler Conklin can give you even more than what you were getting out of Brock Wright. Another guy, a local kid, Central Michigan, that has a lot of motivation to want to be here and compete for even another contract. So again, low risk, high reward. And again, you're not asking Tyler Conklin to be your tight end 1 or maybe not even your tight end 2. So as a backup tight end, I think that's another good signing. That's it. Lions locker room's going to be hype. Conklin coming home. I mean, he's not the only one. Remember Larry Borum, the tackle? He's also a local kid. There's talk about him competing for a tackle position. Don't know says, I think Conklin's better than his numbers from last year. I feel like he got in Harbaugh's doghouse early last year and never got out. I think there's something to that. I mean, he had such limited production last year. It was scary, and he wasn't necessarily unhealthy. So I think they had some other guys at tight end, and he just kind of fell to the wayside. But you're right. Maybe he had a falling out with Harbaugh. You wonder what that was. But I agree. I think he'll fit the bill here for what you're going to need him for. He's a willing blocker. And for what Petzing's going to want to do. And that's the other thing about Conklin. He was in Minnesota when Petzing was there. So you have familiarity with that system just to a certain extent. So whatever Petzing's going to want to do with this Lions offense, again, Conklin is familiar with that. I think that helps. David said, Izzy is short, but he's a dog, and Dan Jackson could return. Yeah, so they got some pieces. Dan Jackson, another guy you don't want to forget about. Late round draft pick last year, got hurt. Really didn't get much out of him. So you're going to have a lot of guys competing in that secondary. I think that's a good thing. And I mean, you got to go back to the Cade Mays thing. And again, I don't know if I looked at it in the right glasses when this first happened compared to how I'm going to present it to you now. And we know that the Lions were not in the Linderbaum sweepstakes. He priced himself out of the market for 99% of the teams. The other available centers that we talked about, McGovern, Biadasz, they signed elsewhere. McGovern re-signed with Buffalo. He wasn't even available to the Lions. So they went out and got the next best option. The best option they could have gotten in free agency. And the more and more I actually read into this, and what I've tried to do is look at it from the Panthers side of things, because nothing speaks, I think, louder than the former team either being fine with him being gone or being upset that the player left. And I'm hearing more and more that the Panthers brass is upset that they let Cade Mays go. Now, they didn't end up signing another center. They figured it out. But I think that Cade Mays had a lot of upside with his age. Oh. Hold on, guys. Hang in there for me. Oh, no. Ah! Oh my God, I'm sorry. Oh my God. Are you guys still there? I hope so. I'm so sorry. Can you hear me? Can you hear me loud and clear? Hello, hello. Cops got me, guys. I gotta go. No, I'm just kidding. Camera died. Apparently the camera was not charging as I had it plugged in, and it went dead. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Just let me know if we're having any problems. My bad, guys. Horrible technical issue. My fault. My fault. Not the way Johnny Gaz likes to present his lives. That's kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you. Now my cameras run separately, and it is typically plugged in, but apparently I hadn't connected the thing very well, so it just died. So my apologies, guys. I'm back. Appreciate you hanging in there. My apologies. And Trim, you the man. Look at that, Trim. You the best. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, slap the like button. For all the technical difficulties we had today, slap it up for me. I appreciate you guys very much. My apologies. So yeah, we were talking about Caden Mays. I think I got cut off talking about Caden Mays. So Lions go and get Caden Mays. And again, I'm now starting to like the Caden Mays signing more and more because, again, the deal that they got him on, they got him for nothing. 3 years, $25 million. That is nothing. I mean, considering if the guy plays up to that, if the guy plays the center that you want him to play, that I think we expect him to play, that is extremely valuable contract. And it allows them to do a lot of other things up front. You know, now they can think about drafting the tackle of the future if they want to do that at 17. I've heard talk about them using Borum and shifting Penei over. I don't know if that's really where I'd want to start this thing off, but you could still do something in free agency or go to the draft. And the bottom line is you now have your center. I really believe the Lions have the center that they can build off of. And I'm not worried about his PFF run block numbers. I think that the surrounding cast will make that look better by association. I think Hank Fraley will piece this together to where, like Trim just said, something is brewing, especially on that offensive line. I'm starting to feel more and more confident, and it started with that Caden Mays signing. So again, guys, I appreciate you hanging in there with me. If for some reason it goes out again, just know that the camera's very light on battery, and I might, just hang in there with me. I appreciate you. Moving a Pro Bowl right tackle to left, is that a problem? Phil, well, here's the thing. If it was anybody but Penei Sewell, I'd say it would be a problem. 15 positions is never easy, but for a guy, is my mic dead? My mic being funny? I bet you, let me check. Michelle says I'm having microphone issues. Are you guys hearing the same thing? Got anything wrong with my microphone? Let me know if you guys are hearing it funny. All right, thanks. Don't know. Yeah, I mean, you know probably better than anybody. Thank you. Way to go, Michelle. Thanks, Michelle. No, I'm just kidding. It's all good. Mike's good. Thank you. Appreciate you. Back on. Must have been off for a second. Yeah, I was gone for a minute. We're back. Don't worry. No worries. So, yeah. So, I have a little snake bit today. What were we talking about? The hell were we talking about? All right, we're back. There we go. Yeah, so on the offensive line, I mean, you got to start to look at it from that perspective. We're talking about Penei Sewell. That's what it was. Right tackle shift from right to left. If it was anybody but Penei Sewell, I'd be worried about it. But I just think it gives the Lions options. I think if Taylor Decker wasn't a Pro Bowler and with the organization for years and years, that Penei Sewell would have been the left tackle. But by association, he had to go to right tackle, became an All-Pro. And, I mean, Millicent, no way. Oh, you didn't have to do that. Thank you so much. Millie, you're the best. Thank you so much. Seriously, I appreciate you. And I appreciate y'all for hanging in there. If you've been around the channel for a little bit of time, that's not typical. Again, that's very embarrassing. I don't like that happened today. I'm going to go back, watch this, and probably cry a little bit that happened. But, hey, we live and learn. We're going to make sure it's plugged in for future lives so that doesn't happen again. I appreciate you. Millicent, thank you so much. Seriously, that means the world to me. Thank you. You don't, obviously never required, but always appreciated. Let's get you one of these. They're gone. Everybody, please say thank you, Millicent, in chat. She is the best. Lightning all day, every day. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Very kind. Yeah, Sewell was left tackle in college. I mean, that's David, and thank you for shouting that out. I mean, that's really what it is. That's why I'm not concerned with it. and again, it allows you to take the tackle and not move that tackle, right? So if you're going to take Freeling or Proctor, let's say, then you don't have to necessarily take them out of their position. So it's all good. She's paying for gongs in your electric bill. Well, yeah, that's it. Millicent, that's it. Somebody's got to pay to charge this phone up. So thank you very much. We're going to buy a new charger. Appreciate you. Yeah, Millie's the best. She really is. Thank you so much. Again, not required. Always appreciated. I thank you so much. So let's open it up, guys. For you that have hung in there with me, especially with the technical issues today, let's have a fun topic. I want to bring one more fun topic to the table. I posted something on my Facebook page today. I'd like to pull that up. Let's see if we can go over there and take a peek at it. Let's go take a peek at it. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Johnny Gaz on Facebook. So there it is. So today I posted this on Facebook. I wanted to get everybody's opinion on what your favorite stadium food is. So if you're going to a game, you're going down to Comerica, LCA, whatever it may be, or if you live out of state, it doesn't have to be a professional game, college game, high school game, whatever it is, a sporting event, even a concert, or something, an event of some kind at a big facility. There's always options for food. Always options for food. And now at these stadiums, it's almost like there's limitless options for beverages and food, whatever you could want. So today I'd love to ask, what's up, Shadow? How you doing, buddy? Appreciate you. Welcome to Johnny Gaz Live. We got a special topic going on right now. We just spent the whole live talking about Detroit sports. Well, now I got some. Uh-oh. You don't hear anything, Phil? Uh-oh, Phil. Is that true? Is everybody else hearing me okay? We had a small technical difficulty a little bit earlier on, and I was told twice that potentially the mic could be out. So let me know. Let me know if you're hearing anything. Phil went deaf. Got some people hearing me, some people don't. Again, let me know, guys. I'll fix it up. Let's get back to it. So I am asking for your favorite stadium food. If you're going to a ball game, you're going down to Comerica Park, you get up to the food stand, you're looking up at the board. What are you going for? What is your favorite food option at the ball game? I'm going to go through my top 10. Let's see if you guys match up with my top 10. Okay. And this is actually in order. So you are welcome to beat me up here. You are more than welcome to beat me up here. All right. So I'm ranking the top 10 classic stadium foods. All right. In order. And as we go, let me know what you guys think, okay? Let me put this in chat. What is your all-time favorite stadium food? That's what we're going for today. So this is the Johnny Gaz top 10 classic ballpark foods or stadium foods. Doesn't have to be ballpark. It could be any sporting event of any kind. So let's start this off at number 10. All right, let's get this off the screen. We don't need to say more. At number 10 for the top 10 classic ballpark or stadium foods, I have pizza. I'm putting pizza at number 10. And you might be like, what? Pizza? That's got to be higher than that. Nah, pizza's good. Pizza's fine. But if I'm at a baseball game, I'm not going for a slice. That's just me. Now, as a Detroiter, going to a ton of Detroit sports events, LCA, obviously, Little Caesars Arena, there's pizza all over the place. So I'm not mad at you. That's why it's in the top 10. So let's keep that in mind, guys. It's top 10. There's a lot of foods outside the top 10. But at number 10, for my all-time classic stadium foods, I'm going with pizza. All right, at number 9, I'm going with cotton candy. And that might hurt some people's feelings because cotton candy is one of those classics. But again, I'm not a huge sugar guy. I'm definitely more of a savory than sweet if I'm making a choice. So cotton candy is at the end of my list. That was number 9. I have ice cream in the mini helmet. Right? We all have had the ice cream in the mini helmet. Fantastic way to travel. It's a good vessel for at a ball game. You know, it's definitely nostalgia, kind of reminds you of your childhood. And the helmet carrying around is an experience. Plus, you get to keep that helmet when you leave. Now, assuming you eat it up real well, you don't want to take home the sticky helmet. So you either got to wipe it out with a napkin, dump some water in there, take it to the bathroom with you and rinse it out. But that is a classic. So at number 8, I have the ice cream and the mini helmet. At number 7, maybe the all-time classic, I have Cracker Jacks. And I might get beat up for this because Cracker Jacks have kind of been it's like a lost food. You know what I mean? Like it's nostalgic to a T. It's got a little mix of everything. You got your popcorn, your caramel, your peanuts, all combined into one, and you get the little prize. And it's Cracker Jacks, man. It's iconic. It's legendary. But are you actually finishing that box? Nah, nobody's finishing a box of Cracker Jacks. So that's why it falls for me at number 7. At number 6, for my all-time favorite stadium foods, I have nachos. Nachos, and you can get a wide variety of nachos. I think nachos is kind of touch and go. You can either get a fantastic set of nachos, or you can get your run-of-the-mill stale nacho, bad cheese, and it's a bad experience. But a good set of nachos can set you in a place in a dreamland. You know what I mean? So at number 6 for best stadium foods, I have nachos. So right now we're going through our top 10 all-time favorite stadium foods. At number 10, I have pizza. Number 9, cotton candy. Number 8, ice cream in the mini helmet. Number 7, Cracker Jacks. At number 6, nachos. And now we're going to go through my top 5 all-time favorite stadium foods. Let me know in the chat, what is your all-time favorite stadium food? What do you got to get into at the ball game? I'd love to hear from you guys. Let's go through a few already before we get into my top 5. Shadow, hot dog with mustard. Classic. Ballpark dog, Michelle. Racetrack steak hot dog. Nice. It's called Little Caesars Arena. I know, don't know. I know. And a lot of people are going to kill me for pizza being 10. It's just not my go-to when I'm at the stadium. I don't need greasy pizza. I don't want to do that. I'm not playing a game. A lot of people will, though. And I love Little Caesars pizza. So don't start throwing shade at me that way. Me and my son get Little Caesars pizza all the time. Hot pretzel. Heck yeah. Millicent says, traveled this past season from Detroit area to Cincinnati for the Lions-Bengals. There I had the best chicken tenders and fries I've ever had at any stadium. Chicky T's, man. You can't go wrong with that. Cracker Jacks is a classic. I am a mix of everything, Trim. I try to hit on all of them. This is my personal top 10. I did not steal this from anywhere. I mean, I got a lot of good ideas, obviously, from doing a little research, but this is straight up me. Yeah, everybody was happy. When you found that little prize in the Cracker Jack box, heck yeah, man. Everybody say what up to Shadow. Welcome to the chat, man. Glad to have you, my brother. Make sure to hit that like button if you haven't already. That's everybody here in the chat. Share the stream out. Let's get your friends and family involved. Let's talk Detroit sports. But right now, we're talking your favorite stadium foods. So let's get back into it. This is my top 5 all-time favorite stadium foods. At number 5, I have just what Millicent said. At number 5, I have chicken fingers. Again, easily carried around. You're going to have a little vessel to have your chicken fingers in. Usually that also has a little dip with it. Chicken fingers a little easier to eat than, let's say, pizza. So that's why it falls a lot higher in my top 10. But number 6, I have chicken fingers. It's safe. It's reliable. You know exactly what you're going to get. And a lot of times it's about what you're dipping them in. And I'm a huge dip guy. So chicken fingers fits the bill for me. I have them at number 5. At number 4, I have hamburgers or cheeseburgers, whatever your fancy is, a burger. It's a great option. It's filling. You know, that's going to really fill you up. You can get a lot involved with a burger. It's not necessarily uniquely baseball enough to be any higher on this list, but I'm a huge burger guy. I like a good burger, man. And at these stadiums now, it's not just a cheeseburger anymore. It's all makes and models, anything you could ask for all day long. So at number 4, I have hamburger, cheeseburger, a burger. At number 3, for my all-time favorite stadium foods, and this is a nostalgic classic, the peanut, a bag of peanuts. Nothing says vendor at a ball game than peanuts. Get your peanuts here. He's throwing bags across your face. Might get hit with one. We don't care. It's peanuts. It's peanuts at a ball game. That smell alone, baseball nostalgia. You walk into the stadium, it just hits you. So peanuts, my number 2 all-time favorite stadium food. And at number 1, drum roll. I don't know if I have, do I have a drum roll? Let's see if we have one. Here we go. Might not use that sound ever again. At number 1, my all-time favorite stadium food has to be the hot dog. I don't think there's anything more classic than a ballpark frank at a ballpark. You go to a baseball game, you get a hot dog. It's a rite of passage. Now, we can argue, how do you dress your hot dog? What kind of hot dog? Casing, no casing, bun length, foot long. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can squeeze a hot dog. Oh, if I had drops, that was one right there. We're going to mark that one down as a drop. That was unbelievable. My point is, though, there is nothing better than a ball game glizzy, guys. Matter of fact, I challenged myself at a ball game, and those who were there can attest to this. I've eaten more than 5 hot dogs at a baseball game before. Now, it didn't get as far as like the 9-inning challenge type. I haven't gone there yet. I don't know if my stomach can handle that anymore. But I will dominate some glizzies in the right setting. And typically with a beer at a ball game, you can pretty much just rotate that hot dog cart to me, because I'm gonna knock out 4 to 5 glizzies at a ball game, no questions asked. So to me, the number 1 best stadium food is the hot dog. It's the standard. That's baseball. It's undefeated. So let me know, guys, do you agree with my top 10? Would you mix in anything else? Let's go through this one more time. At number 10, we had pizza. Number 9, cotton candy. Number 8, ice cream in a mini helmet. Number 7, the Cracker Jacks. Number 6 was the nachos. At number 5, chicken fingers. Number 4, a burger. Number 3, the peanuts. Number 2, popcorn. I think we skipped number 2. I think I actually skipped my number 2. But my number 2 is popcorn. Because the smell, again, you're going back to baseball nostalgia. You can walk into a stadium. Those, along with peanuts, it just hits you. It's the experience. So my popcorn at number 2, and then my number 1 was hot dog. You can't beat it. You just can't beat it. Got to get your foot long. That's right, man. Wow, I did not know this was that kind of stream. I know. Things come out sometimes, and it is what it is. Got a heater going on in Miami. Uh-oh, that's not good. Keep it clear, sir. That's right, baby. I know it got nasty, guys. This channel, I think we're moving over to OnlyFans. So OnlyFans / Johnny Gaz. I don't know. I have no idea how that works, but you get it. I know. So soft pretzels are probably just outside the top 10. And it's a personal thing for me. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, soft pretzels okay. I just feel like they're dry. I don't know. Like a soft pretzel at a ball game, to me isn't the same. Like, have you ever been to Auntie Anne's and had those pretzels? Like, there's a big difference. Like, I'd rather have an Auntie Anne's pretzels than the ones that they sell at the ball game or a hockey game. That's just me. I'm not saying they're bad. It would be probably my number 11, to be honest with you. But you're right. Soft pretzels, if I was going to replace anything, I'd probably get rid of the cotton candy at number 9 and then put soft pretzels there, or put pizza at 9 and then, but either way, with the incredibly high prices of food at stadiums, it has to be food of good quality. I mean, Millicent, that's a great point. Even a hot dog now is what, $4? I mean, a beer, $13. I mean, so I get it. I totally get it. So we got to kind of look past that part of this conversation. And when I was looking into this, most times what you'll find is just these elaborate, crazy concoctions that these stadiums have come up with. They have these concept things and concept foods and restaurants within stadiums. I mean, there's all kinds of food. I mean, you could find anything you want. Tomahawk steaks, apparently. Pretzel and a beer, David. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm a hot dog and a beer guy, and I'm not even really I'm not a huge beer drinker. Like I'm usually like like Jack Daniels and Coke or tequila in something, tequila or whatever. But when I'm at a ball game, it's all about having a beer. Like I want a tall boy and a hot dog. You ever get your thoughts twisted up like a pretzel? Hey, all the time. Today I did a couple times. Shadow, I appreciate you, bud. Thank you for becoming a subscriber. Yeah, if you guys haven't already, it is free to subscribe to Johnny Gaz Sports. I'm on YouTube. I'm on all the socials. If you search at Johnny Gaz Sports on any social network you're part of, you will find Detroit sports content, fun, reliable, honest content every single day for free. I do have memberships on Facebook and YouTube for a small nominal fee where I do a ton of fun content, but there's always good free stuff for you here, as well as these lives every Tuesday night and Thursday night. And though it is not typical, we did have a technical issue in the middle of this live. I promise you guys, it's not usually what happens here at Johnny Gaz Live. That was a simple misplug on my part. I feel embarrassed about it. Embarrassing. Popcorn is all I can afford, Michelle. I mean, so maybe that's just my 10 through 1. It's popcorn. And it's usually other people's popcorn. Like, are you done with that? Thank you. Oh, I hate that kind of guy. I've seen that at the ballpark before. I feel like I have to sit down with my financial planner before I head to the stadium. Oh, you're right. Think about it, Millicent. I don't know how you're going to the stadium, but like think about bringing a family of 5 or a family of 4 even. Like 2 parents, 2 kids. That's $250 easy. And that's assuming you don't buy like a hat or, a foam finger for $35, I'm with you. I mean, the stadium costs, life costs in general is going up and up, but yeah, at the stadium, it's ridiculous. I bought this hat at the stadium. I won't even tell you. Basically I had to pull out a second mortgage on my house for this. Grim says, since liking and subscribing to Johnny Gaz Sports, my sex life has drastically improved. See what it can do for yours. Man, I got to start bottling up those pills. Before I started watching Johnny Gaz, my wife and I were arguing. Now that I'm watching, we might still be, but I don't know because my earbuds are in. Like it's so. Don't let your wife hate me, man. You come on the show too often. She's not going to let you do that anymore. That's good stuff, though. Shadow says the kids can't go with me. That's it. I mean, I'm taking myself to the game. It's good stuff. I appreciate you guys. We're well over an hour because of you guys. We're having such a good time. Thank you for hanging with me for this fun topic at the end of the stream. I'm going to continue to bring these fun topics probably every time we go live, at least once a week. I just have a lot of fun shooting the stuff with you back and forth. I think it's fun to hit on some of these topics, so I will continue to do that and look for what that topic will be in the description of each live. I will have that laid out for you. If everything goes as planned, I should be back Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern with actually a working camera. So we won't have that technical issue. Again, I appreciate you guys all hanging in with me for that today. I apologize. It was a lot of fun here today. We talked about our Detroit sports. The Pistons got a win tonight. Red Wings hopefully rolling as they take on the Canadiens tomorrow. We'll have an update for you on Thursday as far as how the Red Wings did. We'll go back through Detroit. Everything that happened through Detroit sports. We'll go around the D. We'll have our main topic of the day and another fun topic for you guys. If you have not already, let's slap that like button one more time before you leave. Make sure to say goodbye in chat. More than anything, take care of yourself and your mental health. That is so important. I say it at the end of every stream, but I really mean it. You can't do other things well if you don't keep yourself right. You can't help the ones around you if you don't help yourself. And I want to make sure you come back and see me on future videos. Thank you to all who joined me for the live today. Everybody who got involved in chat. I appreciate you. Millicent, huge shout out for the dono today. Again, never required, but so much appreciated. Will hopefully help us pay for a new camera so we don't have those technical issues anymore. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic rest of your evening. I will see you all very soon. Peace.